inverted, narcissistic, and most importantly, completely pointless. Come waste an hour of your week with The Starting Block, Friday nights Australian time at dlive.tv/The Starting Block. Get in touch with us on Twitter at The Starting Block, no K at the end. Also, subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or iTunes by searching for The Starting Block, all one word, or on Podbean at startingblock.podbean.com. Join the blockheads, tuning in their millions, right around the world.
You're listening to The Starting Block on TAVshow.com.
The following program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron or a member of the PTL Club, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who wouldn't know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you.
Okie dokie, roll 'em!
Nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just get a feeling like you need some kind of change.
Hey, welcome to The Starting Block for another week. Big show as always. We've got story times, we've got Hero Douchebag, we've got a brand new segment and the return of one of our favourite segments. All that and much, much more here on The Block.
Standing tall on the wings of my dream. Rise and fall on the wings of my dream. Rain, thunder, wind and haze, I'm bound for better days. My life, my dream, and nothing's gonna stop me now.
It's Greeno here from The Starting Block. On behalf of The Block, we just wanted to let you all know that we're all in this together. Well, except if you have coronavirus, then stay the fuck away. But in every other situation, we're in it together. To all of you on the front lines, those of you turning a footstool, a wok and a pitchfork into a home gym, those of you who have given your housemates a mental breakdown because you decided lockdown was a great time to learn the keyboard and the only thing you can play after 8 weeks is chopsticks over and over and over again. And those of you who are homeschooling and are now understanding the question you used to harass your maths teacher with of, when the fuck are we ever going to need to know this in the real world, is coming back to bite you on the ass. Just remember, like a 1990s Australian sitcom, we're all in this together. The days may be long, but in times like this, you can rest assured we will be here to waste an hour of your week, Friday nights Australian time, at dlive.tv/The Starting Block. So take care, social distance, whack on a mask, and subscribe to our show on iTunes. It may not cure coronavirus, but it sure will help us with our rankings. And isn't that really the most important thing right now?
Public Radio's loss is TAVshow.com's game. You're listening to The Starting Block.
Hey, welcome to the starting block for another week. You've got myself, Greeno, and joined by a man who's a little bit embarrassed to have to admit that Peng Shui has actually just been at his house on a bender for the last week. My co-captain, Damo, how are we, sir?
Very good, Greeno. Good evening to you, blockheads, millions around the world. I think, like most people on Earth, had never heard of Peng Shui until today. Until today, yeah. Until Serena Williams talked about it, which is kind of depressing. Because we like 99% of the time we talk about how we want Serena Williams to shut the fuck up, the fuck up, and now unfortunately we have to be like, oh, well, I guess if she's talking about it, then okay, then whatever. Better
pay attention, yeah.
So what happened? She got disappeared or something? Did she?
Yeah,
she a COVID doctor?
Yeah, hasn't been seen in a couple of weeks, but this comes on the back of her alleging sexual assault of a communist leader.
Oh, really?
They're in China. So, I'm not, could be two completely separate scenarios. Who knows? Nothing, not related in any way, shape, or form.
Not related in any way, shape, or form, no. No. And in completely unrelated news, Peng Shui has been found. She's living on a farm where she gets to run around in the fields all day. And let's never speak of her again. And that's what you tell the little kids, when you put the puppy down, don't you? You tell them, well, no, the puppy's gone to live on a farm. So we'll just, she has no Twitter account or no profile anymore. And in fact, if how about this? Don't laugh, Grana, because this could happen. I imagine that any day now, China will come out and say to the people who do the coverage of the tennis events, like Wimbledon and the US Open and stuff, they'll say something like, look, if you mention this tennis player, then we're not going to pay you for the contract to show the tennis event in China. So millions and millions and millions of dollars of fucking revenue will just go down the toilet. And then you'll have LeBron James take up tennis just so he can make an announcement to China how much he respects them and how wonderful they are. Yeah. And please keep watching tennis, Greeno. And John Cena will be there too. We can have John Cena and LeBron James being a doubles.
LeBron flogging a new shoe line as well.
Is he really? Can we tie that in too? That's fantastic.
I'm sure. Surely there's got to be a new shoe line to tie in with the with that scenario.
Unfortunately, though, the only problem is, unfortunately, black people aren't too well liked in China. Apparently, Greeno. Did you know that they have to? Do you remember the one about the Star Wars poster? Did you hear about that? Nah. So that when the
sounds like a serious topic. I avoid all things serious.
No, it's not really serious. It's pretty funny. So the new reboot of the Star Wars, but it's not new. It's like 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago.
I'm aware that they created a whole bunch of new ones. Yes.
So one of the main characters in that was this black guy. So, but for the posters, this is how obvious it is. For the posters, movie posters, classic movie posters that you say.
I'm aware what a movie poster is, dude.
Right. So, you come on now. Look who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the king of the red carpet events, for fuck's sake. Of course he knows what a movie poster is. He's seen them all. So, for the movie posters, though, that went into China, they had to, airbrush the black guy out of it. So, because the Chinese were like, no, I'm sorry, there's certain things we don't tolerate here. And
black people,
apparently. So, I guess we can't use LeBron, but they love John Cena, though, because he kind of
they love him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You just remind me, quick sidetrack before we start the show.
Please.
Now, a bit of Greeno story time, if you will.
I like stories about pinatas.
Gone down a rabbit hole of bad 80s movies, like 80s comedies.
Nice.
But bad ones that I enjoy.
Yes.
And I've never seen before. Like, to anyone else, artistically, they're not well written, they're not well acted. But fuck me, are they not entertaining throughout the course of the night?
Yeah.
So kicked it off with a bit of Meatballs 4 the other night.
They made 4 of them? Fuck.
They did make 4 of them. I couldn't believe it. I was like, Meatballs 4? This is going to be terrible. And it was as bad as I thought, but in a good way. I got to the end of it. I'm like, that was fucking so bad, but so enjoyable simultaneously. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Meatballs 4. I knew it was off to a bad start when the cool character was Corey Feldman. Oh, and I'm like, well, we're struggling here. You've gone from Bill Murray in Meatballs 1 to Corey Feldman in Meatballs 4.
Now, here's an interesting noodle scratcher for you, though, Greeno. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah. Who was doing worse at the time of Meatballs 4 coming out? Meatballs, the series, or Corey? Who was doing worse in their career at that point?
I'm going to say the series.
The series was worse.
I'm going to put it out there.
Because Corey could still get bums on seats.
He can. He did that thing a couple of years back where he went on and acted like a crazy person on the Today Show, was doing like a Michael Jackson tour type thing without being Michael Jackson. It was a bit all over the shop. If you get a chance, look it up. Okay. Corey Feldman, Morning TV 2019.
Did he hang a baby over the balcony by the ankles?
There was no baby over the balcony. It was just kind of like, it seemed like he was having a meltdown, but not having a meltdown, but a productive meltdown. Yeah. Like he went on TV acting all weird, but performing simultaneously. Very entertaining. Check it out.
What was he performing? Now, was he doing songs?
He wrote an album.
He really? He's in a band now. Okay.
Well, a solo artist, if you will, with like backup dancers and whatnot.
So even Jared Leto knew that he couldn't carry it on his own. He'd have to be, in a group. He'd have to be in a band. It can't be Jared Leto and the Somersets.
Yeah. I like it. Yeah. Then I moved on to Miracle Beach, which in itself, once again, sounds terrible, but very entertaining. Okay. But it seemed the thing that really bugged me with Miracle Beach is the lack of rules when it comes to Genie, because the backstory of Miracle Beach is this down on this luck young bloke who's trying to find love, finds he's homeless, and then he finds a lamp and he's got a genie.
Oh no!
And then all his dreams come true. Now the thing is, there's unlimited wishes in this movie, which breaks the overall principle of the Genie rule, i.e., you get 3 wishes, then you're done.
I've seen this movie. Isn't Robin Williams in it?
No, that's Aladdin.
Right. So the guy down on his luck. Right. He comes across this bottle on the beach. And he rubs it and his genie pops out and then starts singing like show tunes,
No show tunes.
You ain't never had a friend like me. Yeah.
The genie in this particular movie is a hot blonde chick, which goes with the theme because it's just a lot of bikinis on the beach. It's a good flick. So that was there. Then there was also a Kirstie Alley film called Sibling Rivalry.
Rivalry. Okay.
Yeah, where she unintentionally sleeps with her husband's brother and kills him in the throes of passion.
That sounds like something Candice Bergman should be in if she's
Kirstie Alley.
I know Kirstie Alley's in it, but Candice should be on the opposite side of that. Like a generational 80s character.
You reckon? Yeah, well, you're very close. The opposing serious character, Carrie Fisher.
Oh yes,
nice Carrie.
Very nice.
So that's the rabbit hole I've been on this week, and it's been I forgot how thoroughly much I enjoyed like bad 80s comedies. There's no agenda to them.
No.
They're not trying to push a particular angle. It's just, hey, here's some boobs, here's a couple of quick laughs, here's some lame jokes, and then we move on.
Let me tell you something,
man. Fat nerdy guy, he falls in love at the end, and I'm like, excellent, fucking this is what I want in a movie.
Yeah.
Why can't we get movies like that anymore?
It's amazing that you've done this because, again, it's cerebral. Because I was on a similar kind of kick, but I was going more like 80s cop shows and cop movies.
I like it.
You know why? The first thing that attracts me to that kind of genre is I love the old cars back then, Greeno.
Good cars,
You know those big, clunky, tanky cop cars that they had in the 80s in the States?
Because they're always down in their luck. They can't afford a big flashy car. They got to have that kind of busted, similar to Beverly Hills Cop 1, where he's got remember you had that blue crappy.
I don't know what it is. I don't know American cars that well. Is it a Pontiac or something? I don't fucking know. Something like that. So I was watching one of them, and go back and watch. Do yourself a favor out there, blockheads and Greeno. Go back and watch the original 48 Hours, Greeno, with Eddie Murphy.
Got it on DVD. Love it.
Yes, and Nick Nolte. Because let's be honest about what 48 Hours is, right? It's basically like, how much money can we make off Eddie Murphy whilst making him a similar kind of persona to that which has already made a lot of money and squeeze it in between other projects and just let's just hope that some fucking dickheads line up to watch it. That's basically what it is.
Reverse. He actually got 48 Hours before Beverly Hills Cop.
Did he really?
Yeah.
So he was so popular in 48 Hours.
Yeah, that
after that, Beverly Hills Cop took over.
You got made Beverly Hills Cop.
So was another 48 Hours after Beverly Hills Cop?
Correct. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So nice Gary, by the way, on the trivia.
Yeah.
Very nicely done.
I only know because I'm a nerd and I listen to all the audio commentaries on the DVDs I got, and they were talking about how with Beverly Hills Cop, they originally wrote it for Eddie Murphy.
Right.
Then the studio's like, Eddie Murphy doesn't know how to fucking carry a movie. We want Sylvester Stallone. So they had Sly ready to go.
You're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe, huh?
Exactly. But then in that time, then 48 Hours came out.
Is this the illegal chop shop? Hey, Paulie. You heard the captain. I'm not going to, hey, I'm taking a vacation, all right? Fucking imagine how shit it would have been. I wish they had made it now.
They did eventually because
with Sylvester Stallone?
He did. Well, he wanted a bunch of script changes.
What?
And that script ended up turning into Cobra.
Really? You're joking?
Yeah. I swear to God.
That's an incredible fucking story. Nice, Gary. And we all know how well Cobra did.
Yeah. So I lost track. Yeah, 48 Hours, amazing flick.
48 Hours. It's good when you go back and watch it, but it's just like mindless banter most of the movie. There's not a lot of action.
There's a lot of racism.
Huge amount of racism. Like fucking ridiculous amounts of racism and just objectification of women. It's just fucking and he's like a drunk who's always smoking a cigarette. Come on, you've been pulling my dick since we started this fucking turd hunt. You know, that's the dialogue. You know what I mean? Yo, Case, why don't you turn your back and let me get some fucking pussy out here? I've been in prison 4 years. My dick get hard when the wind blows, motherfucker. That's the movie, basically, in a nutshell. I don't know. They're chasing some Indian guy. I don't even know what he did. He broke out of prison. He was in a chain gang. I didn't know they still had them. Apparently they do.
It's 9:10, but 9:15 I want to be into some flesh.
Tang. That's where we got Tang from, wasn't it?
That's where we got Tang. That's right.
Nice, Gary. There you go. So good. Walk down memory lane.
The other walk down memory lane, I remember me and you watching that back in the day when I was still a smoker, and we were dumbfounded by how many cigarettes Nick Nolte wastes over the course of that film. Yes. And we started paying attention to it. We were like, he literally takes 3 puffs and then he flicks it out of the car. We counted. He wasted like a pack and a half throughout the course of that movie. After a couple of quick drags, and then had to throw the cigarette out. It's like, well, that's $30 worth of smokes right there.
You realise that they didn't want the Nick Nolte character smoking, but they did want him lighting them. So he would literally, in one scene, Greeno, he'd have like 4 or 5 because he pulled them out of his pocket, light it up, and you'd see him take 2 puffs, put it out, like stomp on it, and then pull out another cigarette. Like straight away, like giving the illusion that he was chain smoking. Obviously, you're supposed to be so enamored and enchanted by the fucking rich dialogue, Greeno, that you don't notice this little, cinematic fucking magistry that's happening in front of you. But once you notice it, it's one of those things. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, Greeno.
Unsee it. It's the good old days.
Now they would just airbrush the cigarette out of his fucking hair. Yeah. So every 20 seconds, it looks like he's scratching his nose.
Exactly.
Put a lollipop in his head because we can't encourage the kids to be out there smoking.
Nah, of course not.
The kids watching 48 Hours.
48 Hours.
40-year-old movie.
That's it. The thing I thought about when I was watching all these old movies, though, throughout the course of the week, I got flashback. I felt like I was back at my VHS store.
Yes.
Where I'd get 7 weeklies for $7.
Yeah.
And so you're like, well, I'm just going to find ones that look kind of amusing. That's what I'm doing at the moment. Whatever I'd hire for weeklies, I'm like, yep, surely there's got to be some gems. That's how I came across Ladies Man. 7 weeklies for $7.
Yeah, that's so true. So many good flicks that I've seen in the 7 for 7 deal, Greeno. Down at Blockbuster, or was it Blockbuster or Video Easy even back in the day?
It wasn't Video Easy. It was the local St. Clair one that I used to go to. That had like just any Tuesday you duck on down, get seven VHS DVDs.
That's right.
$7. You're like, well, there's my week covered. And because like you'd watch them all in 2 days, you're like, well, I got them for another 5. So you rewatch them. Yeah. So you kind of knew in and out, every aspect of each movie over and over and over. Because what else are you going to do?
That's right. That was a ritual, like kind of for a couple of years there when you first moved out of home, the video store was your best fucking friend because it's entertainment for $8. So you could buy a bag of popcorn and 3 movies and then you'd be like, all right, well, that's, Friday night covered because I'm fucking broke and I've got no money to do anything else. I guess I'll just have a tin of baked beans and watch fucking 3 movies and eat my popcorn.
Watch Air America.
Exactly. Yeah. So, just trying to hang on till payday, Greeno. But now, I mean, I guess on the upside is, as long as you can, if you forego the money you would have spent on video, VHS rentals, baked beans, and popcorn, Greeno.
Yeah.
And you can afford an internet, connection, then now you can just download everything illegally.
Exactly.
That's the upside. So everybody wins, obviously.
Everyone's a winner.
Yeah.
Nice, Gary!
We got mad distracted to start the show. We're 21 minutes in. We haven't even started it. That may be a record.
And you don't like adjusting the rundown, so
no, the rundown's cool.
Looks like we're set in for the long haul tonight, folks.
we got to get into some hot toss.
Hot toss off the breath.
Before we start the rundown, even. I just went to pick up the little one from school today, and
hang on. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and so there's like a 10-minute period where I got to wait outside, waiting for her to finish a class, and flicking through Twitter, and I'm like, "Oh, what's all this about Australian cricket captain Tim Payne?" And I'm like, scroll, and I'm like, "Oh, dick pic. Hang on, resign. Hang on, 2017. What the fuck is going on here?" So long story short, it turns out the Australian cricket captain they brought in to replace the disgraced Australian cricket captain had been investigated for inappropriate behaviour before they appointed him captain. And now 4 years later, he's had to resign about an incident that happened before he became captain.
Nice, Gary!
You following?
Stuff. I'm following.
Yeah.
I'm following. Oh, God. So what are we going to have to do now, I guess, in Australian sports is, because we love sacking captains for controversies and whatnot. So
sacking captains and having them cry in press conferences when they
love
lose
it.
the captaincy.
We love it when we really kind of drill it into them, don't we? We really love, humiliating people. So I think the only way forward now is, Greeno, would be to emulate the good people of Sparta and basically raise cricket captains from birth in very controlled conditions. Like, we can't let them have a normal childhood.
No mobiles.
Yeah, we can't let them have the experiences of a teenager where they may get influenced into having things like a sense of humor, for example.
Nice, Gary!
And we can't have things like that. So we've got to just train them just to be absolute fucking killers out there. Now, they might not be very good at cricket, okay, but they will be disciplined. Okay, that's the main thing. As long as they don't do anything or say anything or, generally do anything except play cricket. Yeah. And so they can play cricket poorly. That's fine. As long as they're just good guys, I guess. Yeah. Is that what we want?
I think that's what Tim Payne was meant to be. A guy who didn't play cricket very well, but he was a good guy. Turns out, pre-appointment dick pics.
Yeah. So who's next? Who are we bringing in next to be the captain?
Well, here's the interesting part about it, right? So, do you want to touch on the speeches? Or we'll delve this first, then we'll get to the statements and shit. So the next thing in line is the vice captain, Pat Cummins, right?
Okay.
Now, given the fact that Tim Payne has had to step down because of inappropriate texts and dick pics. Is it really appropriate to appoint a dude whose nickname is Cider because his surname's Cummins?
Nice, Gary!
That's legit his nickname amongst the boys.
So now you have to slow down. For our Americans, brothers and sisters, one of our cricketers, his name is Patrick Cummins, Cummins, and his nickname is, what is it? Cider. Cider. Yeah. Because it's Cummins cider. Okay.
Cummins cider.
Nice,
exactly.
Gary!
Fucking hell. So he's going to be the next captain. Cummins cider.
We'll find out. Because you think about it.
God, I love the world sometimes when these kind of little moments pop up, don't you?
Because I've already seen the Twitter sphere go nuts because they're like, well, surely we can't have Paddy because he's a bowler and they're going to rotate the bowlers around this series.
One thing, though. Can I just put a prayer out there to the universe? And I want people to start saying that Pat Cummins can't be captain because of his nickname. Because that's when we'll know that we've reached peak fucking. Yes, that's right. We're about to crash into a vortex into fucking hell itself. When they'd be like, no, I don't care if he is the most qualified and the vice captain. We can't let him in because he has an inappropriate nickname. Okay, I want that. Please let.
Can we stand down the nickname?
Yes.
want a 10-game suspension for the nickname.
How bad would it be? Remember the early days of 2020 when they used to put the nickname on the back of the shirt?
Yes.
Imagine if he was running around with cider.
Sensational. So here's the kind of predicament we've got in because we're ridiculous and we overreact to every small little situation. Yeah. So our current captain, who's going to play on anyway, has stood down. So we can't have Tim Payne. Now, we've also already sacked our captain and our vice captain for the sandpaper saga. So we can't have Dave Warner and Steve Smith.
I can't believe there's a saga named after fucking sandpaper.
Now, well, it's a gate, really.
Sandpaper gate. Yeah.
A gate.
There's too many syllables in that, though. It's got to be something gate. One gate, two gate, not sandpaper gate.
Yeah. Well, technically, it's two syllables, water gate.
Yeah, but it's not three. Sandpaper.
Not three. Sandpaper, too many. So that then goes, well, how many batsmen are left? Because they don't want to bowl, all right? Yeah. So how many batsmen are left? Now, the only
how many batsmen are left is what
because
we
can't have Warner, we can't have Payne, we can't have
Smith.
We can't have Smith.
Got to put Smith back in, I reckon. Have to.
They won't. They go with Cummins. But that then goes, well, hang on. Then we've got, then I saw someone go, well, the only people that have captaincy experience or leadership experience are Usman Khawaja and Travis Head, who both don't have a confirmed spot in the team.
No. Usman's been dropped.
It out for one spot.
Usman's been dropped more times than a fucking hot potato out of the pot, Greeno.
Mm-hmm.
He's been selected and dropped, selected. So they're going to have a captain. They're going to name him captain. They're going to let him play the first match in a test series, and then we'll never see him again.
Yeah, exactly. That's how we roll.
So that won't happen.
That won't happen. So that only leaves Marnus if they're going to go with
Labuschagne already.
Batsman.
Okay, he's got a good temperament.
Well, he's the only one who's got a secure spot who's actually still eligible for captaincy.
Yeah.
Everyone else is ineligible.
It'll be like we're going back to the days of Kepler Wessels, Greeno. Aren't we? Foreign-born captain. Was he the last kind of foreign national
He would have been,
captain?
yeah. Well, wasn't Usman born in Pakistan?
Was he? He might have been. Yeah, but
I might just have Pakistani heritage.
But he wasn't. He wasn't captain.
No, I'm just saying, like if they went with Aussie, he'd be another one.
Yeah,
another option. So there we go. That's an absolute circus.
Kepler Wessels was captain of like the one-day team a few times, I think.
No, he was captain of the test team as well.
Was he really in the test team?
Yeah, before
that was the
before
Chapel
AB
days, wasn't it?
No, it was after Chapel, but before AB.
Before AB. Oh, the Kim Hughes era.
The Kim Hughes era, correct. Okay. Spot on. There we go. Our American listeners are loving this. We're talking 80s movies. There's no listeners, we know. We do it ourselves. Quick story time. We'll get back to
I like stories about pinatas.
Dick pic gate. My daughter was saying to me in the car yesterday, she's like, Dad, I used to love it. Do you remember when you used to like play the podcast when you had to go drop like my son off? And I'm like, yeah, I remember. She's like, my favorite part's where you guys swore. And I'm like, excellent. That sums up our show.
Nice,
the kids are into it just for the bits where you like, he's like, oh, that wasn't swear. He's like, when you said the bad words, that was my favorite bits of your show. I'm like, well, it says a lot about the content, really. Yep. No one's listening and the kids love the bad words. So
tell them again about 1980s Eddie Murphy, Greeno.
Yeah, that's it. Packers, niggas, and packers.
Nice, Gary.
But this gets... So we're already at the point of apologies, though, Damo. This is going to be a long show. I've just realised.
We're going to have to trim.
Yeah, but we had last week off.
That doesn't mean we can do like 3 hours.
That's 3 hours. We'll be fine. We're right.
We don't make up time. It's not a job.
That's how we do it.
Listen, you weren't here last week, so you're going to have to You're going to have to do double time tonight. Oh man. I'm not even getting paid for this.
We're all good. I've got, let's just fucking once again open kimono. I've got a muted word, which is literally a 4-second gag.
Okay.
I've got a quick story time.
Yep.
We can skip the fucking tax money at work. And we can skip the hero and douchebag. And then we'll get to segment 2. We're all good.
All right. Nice, Gary.
Excellent.
Nice, I damn near killed you. Okay.
Yeah. So we're already at the point of apologies, Dave. We've got statements already.
Love a good statement.
So this is Tim Payne's statement. So today I'm announcing my decision to stand down as captain of the Australian men's team. Okay. It's an incredibly difficult decision, blah, 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 blah. As a background on my decision, nearly 4 years ago, I was involved in a text exchange with a then colleague. At the time, the exchange was the subject of a thorough CA integrity unit investigation. Blah, 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 blah.
Just time out for a second. Imagine that, though. Like, one minute you just kind of, he wasn't even in the Australian fucking team back then, I don't think, you know, he was playing.
He probably wasn't even playing with Tassie.
He played state cricket for like 10 years and, you know, was fairly average after he was like a big promising youngster, you know, like.
And then he fucked up his fingers. And,
he got a really bad injury and then he couldn't bat for fucking 10 years. He couldn't score runs. But he came into the test team out of fucking necessity, not out of like, you know, let's be fair. He's a decent player. Don't get me wrong. And he's a fairly good captain as well. But it's just like he would tell you he got in the team because at the time, like fucking half the team couldn't play.
Well, the irony is that he got into the team is because he was one of the good character guys.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Culture club.
The irony.
Stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So the rest of the statement.
Yeah. So, but so just imagine though, you're just playing cricket. You can barely keep a place in the team. And next thing you know, you're fucking elevated captain, blah, blah, blah. But there was people are investigating your tweets and shit, Greeno. Like, fuck that. I don't know if it's worth it or not. You might, speaking of 80s movies, Greeno, you might end up being Brendan Fraser's character from The Scout. You know how he goes to play in Mexico? He's just this fucking weird wonder kid whose backstory in the movie, by the way, is never actually really explained.
No.
It's just kind of alluded to that he's got loss issues, but they never explain how he ended up in Mexico or why he acts like a 10-year-old child.
Yeah.
But he's the greatest baseball player that's ever, that would be a preferential lifestyle compared to like, you know, like look at Ollie Robinson, for example. He got fucking sacked because of shit he tweeted 8 years ago.
We got Alex Hale blackface today, don't we?
Yes, the blackface. The Alex Hale. I was going to do that on tomorrow's show. We can...
Alex, we're not going to dig into it. I'm just saying. Like, we
can dig into it. I'm just saying that I've seen it because he went to this party like 8 years ago as a tribute to Tupac Shakur. So here you have this white fucking English cricketer. Hello, John. How you going? Bloody all right it is out there. Bloody fantastic. All right, then.
Pop a cup in your arse, eh?
Pop a cup in. I tell you what, Johnson, I'm going to be hitting the streets with my homeboys and shooting up some niggers out there. What do you say? It's going to be fucking wonderful, isn't it? Out there hitting the courts, Greeno. Oh, yes, the court, Earl of the Court. Oh, nice, Gary. What are we talking about?
I can't remember. Here we go. Statement. So he said that investigation, so there was an investigation. CA Code of Conduct said, no, all sweet. You're good to go. You're no dramas. Fully exonerated. Yet he feels the need to resign now because apparently he was about to get leaked in public. Secretly, when no one knows about it, exonerated, all good. Come on in. You're our new captain. You're our character boy. Thanks for coming. But then suddenly, hang on, 4 years later, I'm going to leak this to the press. And suddenly,
so who leaked it? Who leaked it?
The girl.
Oh, really? Okay.
So now it's like, well, fuck, Tim Payne's looking bad. Like, what are we going to do here? So don't worry, Tasmania Cricket have their own statement. We're all good here. The allegations raised against Tim Payne by former Cricket Tasmania employee were only brought to the attention of Cricket Tasmania when formal charges of theft were laid against the employee in mid-2018.
What?
So they come all guns blazing, right? They could have just let sleeping dogs lie and just gone, look, there was an investigation, we exonerated him, but at the same time, you know, he's chosen to resign for the betterment of Australian cricket.
Hang on.
They decided to come out.
Okay.
Sorry, they decided to come out and go, fuck this chick. Like, she's come out and she slandered our Tim Payne. No, we won't have it. She was, the first paragraph in their statement is, these were only brought to our attention after we found out she was a thief. So already they're diminishing her character straight away.
Well, hang on. Now I have to say something though, because what about, like, come on, the thing that's fucking the elephant sitting in the corner of the room here is what? She got busted stealing something, and then at that moment when she's been caught trying to steal something, she's decided to just, oh, by the way, the Australian captain, the cricket captain, I've got some dirt on him. That is, what the fuck is that? That would be like, Greeno, if I got fucking pulled over for speeding, right? And the copper pulls, wind down the window, please, citizen. And I wind down the window, he shines a torch in my eyes and he says, can I see your license and registration? I'll be like, Greeno raped someone. He raped someone 10 years ago. He's got the body buried in his backyard. Whoa. So this is just like the ultimate deflection, right back. So I've been caught stealing. What can I do? I know. I'll throw the Australian cricket captain fucking under the bus.
Under the bus. There we go.
So everyone's a cunt in this story, by the sounds of it.
Yeah, very much so.
Everyone.
Very much so. Was there? That was the last statement, I think.
They also said it was like consensual and shit as well.
Yeah, it was all consensual.
So she literally has been caught stealing something and decided her defense will be, by the way, I know shit about the Australian cricket captain.
Here's a picture of his dick.
Yeah.
And I'm going to send it to the media. And they're like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. We don't want that happening. We can see his fucking mangy hands around his dick. Like, we don't want that.
Oh, the broken fingers, Greeno.
We know it's his broken fingers. Like, we can see it. Is there etiquette when it comes to dick pic? I don't know. For me, I'm not the kind of person who'd send my crush to anyone. Right. Do you have to be holding the penis? Do you just do the penis flaccid? Do you have to get it worked up beforehand?
I guess it would be personal.
Protocol.
I guess it would be personal taste, but the etiquette would generally have to be, at least asking first.
Which sounds like he did.
Remember that Jeffrey Toobin? Now, Jeffrey Toobin.
Name sounds familiar, yeah.
Right. Jeffrey Toobin, he kind of, during a meeting with the New Yorker, he, did that classic thing that happens now. He forgot the camera was on and he walked in and he was fucking butt-ass naked and he was in front of his co-workers. Right? He's like this. He's a famous journalist in the States, Greeno.
Yeah.
So he got fired from the New Yorker, which he'd worked at for 20 years, which is a massive magazine. And he was also on CNN. And then he had to come back on CNN and have this interview with a female host, by the way. And it was like,
that's how they set it up, yeah.
Yep. Talk about how you got caught masturbating on camera and how you got, because the footage was out there. That's the other thing too.
Yeah.
Someone fucking leaked that too. So I wonder what she did. Maybe she got picked up, jaywalking, Greeno. She decided, I've got this video of Jeffrey Toobin. Here. Yeah. Have at it. Have at it, boys. Fucking hell.
So that's that saga. We can close off the hot toss, I think.
Hot toss off the press. Oh, yeah. Bum.
I'm going to go to a muted word of the week, Damo. I'm going to introduce this as a new running segment. Now, if there's a word that pops up in my timeline and I don't want to see it anymore because there's just too much of it, muted.
Oh, so you're going to mute a new word every week?
When I feel the necessity.
I like this because this is like accelerating newspeak, Greeno. This is like accelerating the dystopian future where we communicate through grunts and hand signals.
That's what we want.
One word at a time.
Exactly. So words that I see too frequently in my timeline that fuck up. Because I go on social media to look at things that I enjoy seeing, right? Yes. So generally it's like baseball shit and like funny tweets or, memes or lighthearted like Simpsons memes.
You're basically there to kill time. Basically.
Kill there to time and have a laugh, mate. That's what I'm on social media for. Yeah. So, and things I enjoy. Bit of footy chat sometimes, there or thereabouts.
Bit of bands.
Bit of bands. This week's muted word of the week, though, Rittenhouse.
Rittenhouse.
I don't know what a Rittenhouse is. I don't care for it. But I've seen the fucking word too many times. I've seen some fucking weird dude crying on my timeline way too frequently. I've seen outrage. I've seen a back and forth, innocent, guilty. I don't want a fucking bar of it. You're ruining my timeline, people. Stop fucking putting Rittenhouse in my timeline. I've muted it. It's gone. Had enough of it.
I just think it's fucking amazing that you don't even know or care what it is. Like I don't
care what it is.
I don't care. I don't want to know.
It's interrupting the baseball tweets I want to see. It's interrupting the dick pics that people are trying to DM me. It's fucking very distracting. And you're ruining my timeline.
What if you were missing though, like this generation's kind of O.J. Simpson trial or something? Would you regret it later on?
No, definitely not, because they'll do a fucking telly movie on in 20 years with David Schwimmer, and I can watch it.
Do you reckon David Schwimmer would play 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse?
I would lock it in. No, what are the odds? I'll get on Sportsbet. We'll put some money down. You heard it here first on the block. Record this, paste it, timestamp it. David Schwimmer will play this fucking Rittenhouse dude.
Do you like your novelty comedy songs organic? Handmade with painstaking care, put into every note? Well, look no further than Irrational Times. using only the finest instruments to create an experience that your ears will thank you for later. Irrational Times attempts to elevate the whimsy to a desirable level. New songs and sketches every week, so check it out.
There's a place that we can go to watch old things. All the warm, fuzzy member berries it brings. It's a special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Campy old movies and old cartoons. We hope to see you over there very soon. It's our special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. When we were kids and there wasn't any school, we'd sit and watch all the best cartoons, eating cereal until it was noon. We never thought that 30 years later it'd still be cool. Saturday night and cheesy movies, the ones that used to show us boobies. It's our special little spot tucked away on D-Live. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Enjoy the joy of Pessy. Enjoy the joy of Pessy.
Now with less than 3% sport content. It's the starting block on TAVshow.com.
Yes, welcome back to the block, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Less than 3%. We're actually way over our 3% quota, so I'm going to bring it right back here. Make sure we can tuck nice and neatly in that. I want to sit between that 2.5 to 2.6 range of sports content. Any higher than that starts getting a little close. Yeah.
The good old days.
Yeah, too much fucking sport, Greeno, in the first part of the show. Let's get into some real stuff.
We spent 95% of the time talking about 80s movies.
Yeah, that's true.
And dick pics. There was no sport talk there.
Yeah, I guess the dick pics were relating to a sports figure, though.
Can I squeeze in a quick bit of sport linking into the last segment? I was talking about the muted words of the week. Quickly jumped on the twit during the break, and the reason like I said, I'd like to just see the baseball content and whatnot.
Just get the scores,
you know? Yeah, just any kind of comment about it keeps me interested. Yeah. And then I see at Yankee Slut pop up on my timeline.
What?
I swear to God, I don't follow Yankee Slut.
What? There's a Yankee Slut.
But then I thought, let's find out what
Yankees.
Oh, me too. But let's find out what Yankee Slut's all about. Anything short of a championship, I'm gonna slit my fucking wrists. That's her banner. Excellent
commitment.
So somehow she's got 2,500 followers.
Whoa! And there's the biggest Yankee fan of them all, Yankee Slut, as she puts the razor into her wrist. Take a look at that, Bob. Oh, wouldn't you know it? The blood is spraying on the faces of her children, Bob.
Nice, Gary.
Sounds like a lovely lady. Yeah. Yankee Slut. Follow her there on Twitter.
Apparently, Derek Jeter offered to kill himself instead of Yankee Slut slitting her own wrist, and she said, "No, Jeter, they need you."
That's it.
So she took the bullet, Greeno. We've been introducing new segments on the show lately, Greeno. You introduced a new segment. I think it's a fantastic segment, by the way. I don't think we even need to run it past head office.
Do we have a head office anymore?
Yeah, head office is still around. They're still around.
All right.
Just more of an umbrella corporation kind of situation that we have going on.
I feel like COVID, working remotely, doing the show from home. I feel like we lost contact with head office.
Yeah.
Like it's not like the good old days where they personally deliver the Mountain Dew.
That's true. Actually, I'm a bit behind in my Mountain Dew payments. I don't know about you.
Yeah, me too. But I realise we're probably not pulling our weight. In all honesty, we can't even get our promos right. So
that's true. That's true. 7:30 on Fridays, ladies and gentlemen.
that tweet has been retweeted plenty and lots of likes.
That's
all
right.
For the wrong time.
And no one goes for the correction. No one cares.
No one cares about the correction. You're like, by the 8:30, I'm like, excellent, all fixed, much better. And then No one's fucking paying attention to that one.
No.
No one's listening. Like you said, no one's listening anyway. Who
Yeah.
cares?
Oh wait, you're going to be on at 4:30 in the morning instead of 3:30. Oh no, I'm going to have to miss it because I'm going out for dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
No
it's just an unfortunate time for me. So we've been doing new segments. You've introduced new segments a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of shows ago, pardon. I introduced a new segment called the weather segment, and we got very, very happy responses from the audience, Greeno, about the
Good
weather
feedback.
segment.
Yeah,
Very good
very
feedback.
much
Very good. People yelling over the fence when you're kind of walking down the shops. Hey, Boogs, love the new segment, mate. And I go, thanks, Jim. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it. So there was a lot of that going on, and I'm very pleased that we can get off sport completely, go to our favourite weatherman, Frankie, for this week's edition of the weather segment. Greeno, take it away.
Okay, guys, let's do a spinning around and doing a tornado siren at the same time.
My favourite part is, Greeno, how long it goes for.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I'm watching the time bar go across. I'm like, hey, well, we're only halfway through the weather report.
Yes.
We're gonna have to get Frankie a puffer for his next weather report.
Thanks for watching, Frank Down.
Nice, Gary.
Fucking
Nice to have the weather report back.
I love him. Don't you reckon the old classic weather? You can keep your pretty girl in the mini skirts or whatever fucking fad you're trying to use to get people interested in the weather.
Yeah.
You can keep all that shit. Give me the old classic, old school weather-man like Frankie McDonald. But that's
Frankie McDonald.
Did you know, Greeno? What if I told you that was not the only string in Frankie's bow?
Well, before we get to that, I want to do a quick story time.
Okay.
Because this then
I like stories about pinatas.
Feeds into Frankie. So this week, a bit of crap around the house, right? A bit of crap. I thought, look, before Christmas, you normally get a couple of council pickups a year free of charge. They're all good. So I'm like, got to make sure I squeeze one in before the end of the year, before my count restarts. Got to get the crap from out of the house.
Yeah.
So jump on the website, ready to book in, put it all in, put in my details, blah, 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 punching through. Do you want to do this? Do you have something bigger than this? Because that costs extra. I'm like, no, it's all good. It's all inside size. Do you want to do this? That costs extra. No, I don't want any of that. All good. Bang, 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 bang. Get to the end, click, went to hit submit. And then I realized $100.
What?
I'm like, whoa. It's council pickup. Like, no, I haven't used any this year. What do you mean $100?
Oh, you're not in Sydney anymore.
No.
You've got to pay for council pickups now. You're out of Sydney.
Now I've got to pay. And I'm like, surely this must be a mistake. So I went back to the start because I used to get 2 free in my old place, which is fair enough. Like 2 free.
It's been like that. All the councils of Sydney, it's been like that for our whole fucking lives at least. 2 free pickups a year. And then sometimes you get an extra one. Like every now and then they'll be like, by the way, this is an extra one. It doesn't count towards your 2. So, they do a couple of them every year as well. So there's plenty of opportunity to throw old shit out in Sydney.
Exactly. So this one, though, first time, and suddenly I'm like, no, I must have hit the wrong button. I'm going to go back to the start. So I went back to the start, clicking through, still $100.
Right.
And I'm like, well, fuck that. I feel like I need to speak to a finance expert to justify how much crap I need in order to justify the $100. Because if we're going to pay $100, I need to make sure I'm getting my money's worth.
Yeah.
And that's when you were nice enough to reach out to me and say, look, I've got a guy.
The man.
I know a guy. And I'm like, well, excellent. I'm like, let's make a segment out of it.
Yeah.
We've got to have a segment. We need a new finance segment because the people, especially in this day and age, like people lost their jobs, people on JobKeeper, job seeker, like whatever it may be called. Everyone's got the crunch. There's been lockdowns. People can't open up their cafes or whatever it may be. You can't have.
It's been fucking hell out there, Greeno.
They're rich getting richer, the poor are getting poorer.
That's right.
We've got to make sure we help out the poor man. And we're like, well, we feel like it's our civic duty to bring a man on.
This is the people's show, Greeno.
Exactly. The credentials to be able to steer people in the right ship when it comes to the diminishing finances and put them back on track.
That's right.
And for guys like me, seek advice. I'm like, what's justifiable for the $100 council pickup? What can we do? And you found just the man. Let's go through it.
The finance segment, ladies and gentlemen. Finance segment, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Nice, Gary.
Mate, they say sometimes one word's better than four, and I think that sums it up, really.
I've got a little story time for you.
I like stories about pinatas.
Less is more sometimes. Less is more. So I feel like some of the finance guys overdo it.
Yep.
They put too many words in their finance segment. It confuses the punters. We need to be able to appeal to the common man. And just put it in a simple language that people will be able to understand. I feel like Frankie, our new finance reporter, as well as our weather reporter, has really got the brief.
I think you're on the money. And I just want to let you know, Greeno, I've put that link in the chat of Frankie doing that, talking about Bitcoin, because it's become very handy for me, Greeno, because we've been kind of pseudo following the story of the Perth Heat baseball team, thanks to Slacko Mitch, Greeno. Now, for our American brothers and sisters, or just, people who don't watch Australian baseball, which is all of you. I'm not going to...
Everyone, including Australians, correct.
Including Australians. There's a team in Perth, obviously, called the Perth Heat, and they've, in this off-season, well, it's an off-season because they decided to cancel the season.
Yeah.
Because of COVID. So... in this off-season, they've decided that they're going to take a new kind of sponsorship direction, and they've become the Bitcoin baseball team.
Yeah.
So are they still called the Perth Heat? I don't know, but they're definitely...
They're still called the Perth Heat. Now, here's the thing. The backstory to this is they've chosen to be the first professional sporting team in the world to pay their staff and players
in Bitcoin.
with nothing but Bitcoin.
That's right.
Now, this is nothing but a publicity stunt, I assure you, because... contractually, you can't just fucking change the currency.
No.
Like in my contract, it says, I'll get $30,000 a year. Well, you got to pay me $30,000. It doesn't say you'll pay me, 9 Bitcoin.
That's right.
When my contract says 9 Bitcoin, then you fucking pay me in Bitcoin. So this whole thing is nothing but a publicity stunt in the off season.
Well, one day the Bitcoin might be worth. One day the Bitcoin might be worth 30% less. So what? You just take 30% less that day.
Exactly.
Okay, because I'm pretty sure the fucking shit in the shop still costs the same. Like it's actually going up. So you know what I mean? But then you might get paid and you might get 30% more than what you're worth, Greeno.
You could. But, I might start paying people with poker machines then, Just go, here's
soiled underwear worn by Tim Payne.
Here's $100
at auction.
for pokies. Go nuts, that's your pay. Hell no, you meant to pay me $300. No. You're going to put $100 in the pokies and try your luck.
Well, have a look at this. So this is the Perth Heat. Now, they have gone full all in here, right? This is their Twitter page, right? Look at this. This is their banner, the Bitcoin baseball team. You know what? I get it, because it's hard to bag them out fully, because I see what they're trying to do, Greeno. It doesn't make sense, but at the same time, there's not a lot of money going into Australian baseball, right? There's not a lot of money. So they are looking for some kind of way to kind of disrupt everything and see if they can be like the first of an early adopting kind of thing, right? They're trying to just break it up and see if they can generate new revenue streams. I get that. But it's so fucking... I mean, look at their logo now. It has a Bitcoin fucking logo in it.
Well,
they are the Bitcoin team.
Because they're not fucking playing at the moment.
They're not playing now, but they're the Bitcoin team. Yeah. But in saying that, the reason I put Frankie's tweet in the chat is because it comes in very handy, because they're all in for Bitcoin. So whenever the intern or whoever posted this tweet, look, we've got new Bitcoin jerseys you can buy with Bitcoin, get the Bitcoin jersey, you can just very conveniently drop Frankie's tweet right under it, and here you go. And that answers everything, Greeno.
That's everything. Is there a way we can stamp that with like the block at the starting block somewhere?
No, that wouldn't be fair to Frankie, though. We've got to drive people to Frankie. That's the main thing.
Fair enough. Yeah. Fair call.
Imagine that. It's like Frankie McDonald of the starting block.
He's our fucking finance reporter.
He's our weather reporter and our finance reporter. We've got to give him a credit. So we put in big letters the starting block, and then in tiny, like in the corner, with Frankie McDonald, and we don't actually say that is Frankie, even though it is. Yeah.
Should we duck back to we're talking money. Should we talk about how our tax money's going to work at the moment, mate?
Money. Yeah, we can talk about where our tax money is going. So, there's been a lot of this going on though, Greeno. A lot of celebrities have been kind of signed up to push, hey, go out and get your jabs, everyone. It's super safe and effective. And if you get sick, then you won't have to go to hospital. I mean, it's really good. By the way, schedule in your booster shots, ladies and gentlemen. They're coming up in the next 3 months. You can have any combination of vaccines you like, as long as you do get your boosters. And then while you're getting your booster, why don't you book in your seasonal flu shot there while you're out there too?
Go nuts, double down. How many jabs can I get?
Get them all.
Jab one in Tim Bates' dick while we're at it.
Hey, if I get 2 jabs, does that mean I can go to 2 concerts at once, Greeno?
Nice, Gary!
Oh, no. He's not usually that stupid. He just had his booster shot. Sorry.
Yeah, still good.
Messing up his brains.
I do find this interesting, though, first and foremost, that they've tried to do get a jab campaign after we've already hit the 80% target.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't this have been helpful,
Because they wanted a sure thing, Greeno.
Yeah, like, let's lock this final fucking 10% down. Quick story time for you, though.
Okay.
I like stories about pinatas.
The daughter got invited to a birthday party last Sunday. So poor thing's been locked in the house for the last 3-4 months. Hasn't been able to go to all the kindy parties and whatnot. Yep. So I'm like, look, I'll take her along.
She did get to run with the doggos for like a good couple of hours. I would have thought that might have knocked a bit of wind out of her sails. Apparently not. Mate, just revved her up more.
Revved her up for the party. She was good to go. Basically, we get to the it was like in a playland type thing, and they asked for sign in vax certificate.
Yeah.
And what I realized is they don't check the vax certificates very thoroughly, right?
Right.
So let's just say hypothetically, I just flash the PDF of my wife's one because they're not going to check my license.
No.
And they're like, yeah, we've seen the tick, you're good to go.
Well, and they couldn't question you anyway because you'd be like, excuse me, I'm in the middle of a transition. Thank you very much. And I'll thank you not to stare. Oh, sorry.
Exactly.
Sorry, sir, ma'am. Oh, shit. On you go. You'll be fine.
I found it quite interesting that there was no checking, there's no validating of said certificate, right? Because you sit there and you're like, okay, here's a thing on my screen with a tick on it. Could be fucking anything. No one checked my license to make sure that I wasn't showing my wife's vaccination certificate that compared to mine. Interesting fun fact. Yep. Similar to the whole signing thing. Like, if you look like you're signing in, are you really signing in?
The best thing I ever heard when I was working retail, Greeno, which was a very short and tumultuous and painful part of my life, but it's there nonetheless. And I was working there, and I watched one of the guys that I worked with just walk out with a box. You can get a box of 32 cans of Coca-Cola, Greeno.
Yeah.
The big fucking cube. And he just walked out of the store and he had this thing over his shoulder and he was like, all right, see you, Janice. See you, Susan. See you, Bill. Bye, everyone. Bye. And we walked down to the car. I was kind of standing out the front having a cigarette wait for him, and I watched him walk out. And we walked down, he put it in his car, and I said, how much did that cost you? And he laughed at me. He goes, I didn't pay for it. And I said, what do you mean you didn't pay for it? You just walked out with it. And he goes, yeah, because if I just walk out and wave to everyone and say, see you later, and put it over my shoulder, they all assume that I bought it.
They pay for it. Yeah, no, that's the stunt we used to pull back in the supermarket as well.
That's it. So if you're going to steal, you got to do it so brazenly that everyone assumes that you aren't stealing it.
You got to show you're walking out with it.
Exactly.
Because if anyone goes, it's kind of like, it's kind of like if you go to the supermarket and you're like, do you want to check my bag? And you volunteer your bag, they're less likely to look in it.
Exactly right. Like I walk up to, because I'm pretty tall, I'm always the guy who gets stopped at fucking, sporting events or at the airport or, like stop, and you have to do that fucking scan thing where they, I don't know why. I guess it's because you make eye contact with them earlier or something. I don't fucking know, but trust me, it's a thing. If you're a tall person, you know what I'm fucking talking about. It happens to you too. So I just I just walk up to them now with my arms out, and as if to say, like, all right, just I don't wait for them to summon me.
Yeah.
And
you take the offensive opposed to the defense.
That's right. I walk up to them and go, yeah, mate, here we go. And every single time now they go, oh, don't worry, mate, on your way.
Yeah.
On your way. Every single time. So you're fucking onto something there. You volunteer at first, they wave you through.
Yeah. They wave you through.
Fantastic. Look what we're doing. I don't know anything about safety. You don't know anything about security. We fucking fixed it again.
You fixed it. Exactly. That's how you work around it. It's all about appearances.
So let's see how these people are doing here. Wilbur Wild. Yeah. Is it Wilbur Wild?
It's Wilbur Wild.
Jesus Christ.
This is for our American listeners.
I prefer him a racist, if I'm going to be brutally honest. I prefer when he was a racist, Greeno, don't you?
No, it was Daryl that was a racist, wasn't it?
I thought they all were.
They're all racist, yeah. It doesn't matter. They're racist by association. That's how it rolls.
Good.
So this is the new government campaign to get people vaccinated, even though we're already at 85% or whatever fucking may be.
85%.
So they've decided, look, hey, we need to get the.
Who's going to push us over the line, over the finish line?
Because you think about it as well. You think about the demographic of the people that may be unvaccinated. It's probably the youth of Australia, right? We're talking
who are the people most likely to be vaccinated, Greeno? It's the people
fuckers
who still throw their soiled panties at Wilbur Wild. But they have to get their son-in-law to shimmy it off their cold legs because they can't move their arms since the stroke.
Exactly. So the Australian government's looked at this as like, look, we've still got fucking 15% to go, and we've got to get the kids on board. so let's do an ad because the kids, they love the ad, they love their music, they're
watching TV, Greeno. The kids watch so much TV, they just all love the commercial breaks.
We'll put a commercial. The kids love advertisements.
Trust me, there is nobody under the age of 30 watching 10 News ever. Nobody.
No, this segment was on 10 News. This is the ad that they're putting out there. But you're right. There's not one kid who's watching advertising.
They don't watch TV anymore, Greeno. They don't watch TV. They stream shit.
Yeah, well, they'll find a way to sneak this in the stream. But let's have a look at the ad and see if we can pick up anything interesting about it.
Yip, 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 bum, 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 get a jab. Get a jab. Get a jab. Get a jab.
Are all of these people supposed to be famous, or are they just normal idiots?
I think they're supposedly famous.
All of them.
Who they are is beyond me, though.
I don't know any of these
people.
Oh,
no, I don't think they're all famous. I think there might be some randos in there. I think they plug some nurses in there.
Look at little, what's he there? Frankie J. Holden. Dancing. Look, we got him dancing, Greeno.
He's dancing in a beautiful red velvet shirt as well. That joke's not going to play well on the podcast. It's fucking very funny on the video.
But it's so funny on the video, I'm going to have to do it again. I genuinely thought, by the way, I know I've done this before, but I mean it when I say it. Frankie J is another one that I genuinely thought was already dead.
He might be dead,
I didn't know what he was fucking. I didn't know he was around still. He's such an obscure fucking celebrity to roll out to get young people vaccinated. It's ridiculous.
That's kind of the point of this segment. Let's keep tally of what celebrities we've got in there. So we've got Wilbur Wild, who hasn't been on television the better part of 20 years. We've got Frankie J. Holden, whose heyday was probably about 40 years ago.
Yeah. What was he even on? What was his thing?
He was on In Melbourne Tonight. The
IMT,
the second version, IMT, late at night on a Monday. And it wasn't very successful. It was a rip-off of the original one with like
Kennedy.
Graham Kennedy, I guess. Yeah.
Get a job.
I think I saw Troy Cassadaly in there.
Troy Cassadaly.
Wilbur Wild. Frankie J. Holden thus far.
Gee, Angry Anderson's look better, hasn't he? On the right here, Greeno.
Oh, is that Angry Anderson, is it?
No.
Can't see. His head's cut off in the video.
Oh, right. Well, that's pretty unfortunate for old Angry, isn't it?
Yeah. All right. So
how much did it cost us?
It's like 2.8 million, something like that.
Fuck off.
Actually, it was a bit more than that.
How much was this? How much did this ad cost?
I actually don't know. I didn't look it up.
I bet it was millions because Frankie J wouldn't come cheap.
Frankie's not shit. So they've got Similar's right. So they've got Frankie J. Holden hasn't been relevant for 40 years. Wilbur Wilde, who hasn't been relevant for 30 years.
Yeah.
They've taken a song, Get a Job, that was released about 50 years ago.
Yes.
To try and get the young people over the line.
This is how boomers do awareness campaigns.
Yeah. Is it on TikTok? Is it on? I want to see Frankie J on TikTok.
Probably is, it's probably what they had in mind. I reckon they saw crappy fucking nurse dancing videos, quote unquote, going viral because corporate media would share it around and go, look how fun this is. But then every normal person would be like, oh, we're sick of the fucking dancing nurses. Fuck.
Yeah.
So they've seen that and they go, this thing goes off its tits. Let's do a cheesy dance. Let's do a cheesy dance along to a fucking satirical mock-up version of a song from 50 years ago. That'll get the kids tingling in the nether regions.
Jabbing up.
Because they're clueless fucking boomers, Greeno. They think this stuff matters. They think it works.
Would it make more sense? Once again, you know nothing about advertising. I know nothing about vaccines. Would it make more sense to make the vaccine the new designer drug?
I've said that before too. Let's call it Turbo. Let's call it Turbo Dragon.
Yeah.
So if you call it Turbo Dragon, the kids will be like, man,
sell it.
Yeah, fuck
Don't make them go to a vac center. Like, just sell it on the black market, just at clubs and whatnot. Let them in. Just hey man, fucking go to the bathrooms.
Hey man, it's the new hottest thing hitting the streets.
Yeah.
If you want to get in the club, you got to take this Turbo Dragon. No, it's cool, man. I got my own shit. No, I mean, if you want to get in the club, you got to take the Turbo Dragon.
Take the Turbo Dragon.
And then sign up for the app. And like, basically you got to upload your tax file number and your social security number. And then after you take the Turbo Dragon, then we can let you in the club.
Send you a survey about the Turbo Dragon. That's something I want to see introduced by the drug dealers out on the street.
Yeah.
I'd like to see like a survey sent afterwards, similar to the jab.
Did you approve of my gear, my fat skunk?
No, did you have any side effects of the gear?
Yeah. Would you say the gear made you dizzy and or hungry? Did you experience nausea?
Did you feel nausea? Yeah. What other symptoms did you get from said gear? And fucking so that way you give them because I feel the drug dealers don't get enough, direct feedback. More surveys will do that.
Probably in the places like Canada and Colorado and shit where it's legal, they probably do have fucking customer surveys. So what did you think of our Afghan strain? Would you say it made you peckish after dinner? Did it help you sleep? I mean, these things go in our reviews. I gave Greeno's skunk ass nigger weed 3 out of 5 stars. It made me very hungry and creative, but then I couldn't get my dick up later on. So that's 2 stars minus 2 stars for that.
That's a survey. That's a survey kind of like a questionnaire I'd like to be a part of, like the writing of. Like, how many strangers did you hug during this period? Like, things like that. Yeah. Like, did you feel you had an adequate amount of love?
Were you overcome with a sudden urge to listen to Nirvana albums?
Yeah. Good times.
Did you light a candle, yes or no? And was it fragrant? If so, lavender, was it?
It. Yeah. What fragrance was your preferred fragrance?
Yeah, I only do lavender in the stick, Greeno, in the stick form.
Stick form. Yeah. Not a big fan of lavender personally. I used to do the lavender.
It's too thick. It's too pungent, isn't it? Lavender.
It is too pungent. I used to do the lavender in the air freshener in the bathroom until the wife put a stop to it. She's like, enough with the fucking lavender spray. I'm like, what are you talking about?
I'd rather smell shit.
I'm like, well, like, what? Yeah. And that was my argument. I'm like, hang on, you have the option here. You can smell fucking turds, you can smell lavender. And she's like, well, just get a different smell. I'm like, well, now we're being fucking like petty about which smell goes into the air freshener.
Yes.
Like I don't understand.
I like your odorless Glen 20, Greeno. I want to nuke the air, with disinfectant.
See, I want an ambient, so I want something that kind of just brings up. I have like do you ever have those air things that go in your car, like air
that you clip onto the little vent thing. Yeah.
Now they seem like the dumbest idea ever, right?
No, that shit works. It works really well.
Well, firstly, that shit works, but secondly, it's like, well, why would you bother? Like, it just makes your car smell and it'll fine. Yeah. But every time someone ever hopped in my car, they're like, oh, your car smells lovely. Yeah. And I'm like, fucking oath it does.
And if it smells nice, it seems clean.
It seems clean, spot on.
That's the other thing. People will let a lot of dust and shit slide as long as it doesn't smell like an arsehole in there.
Exactly. That's the thing. They're just like, oh, this car's lovely. How the fuck did we end up here? I have no idea what we're talking about.
I like stories about pinatas.
Weren't we doing the finance segment last? No, here we go. Our tax money at work. Let's get to Jim N-word story of the week. We got 2 Jim N-word stories this week.
Okay.
After the last fortnight's Jim N-word Super Show. We scaled it back to 2 this week instead of the dozen we did last time. What's the first one we got here, Damo?
My husband keeps being promoted. He doesn't know it's because I bonk his boss.
Oh, yeah.
Now, is this a good chick supporting her husband's career?
It's all about support, isn't it? I agree. I think that's definitely nice, Gary. That's female empowerment, really.
It really is.
People talk about, what is it, the glass ceiling.
Mm.
Now, this is a way to break through the glass ceiling, but doing it in this is kind of a fixer.
Yeah, I think so. Like, why are angry feminists so concerned with breaking through the glass ceiling, Greeno, when they could make a very fine life for themselves, marrying a husband who has a chance to be successful because he's a man, and then fogging up the glass ceiling with your own breath whilst you frantically fuck his superiors?
Think about it.
Think about it. No, it's a better life, isn't it? Still get the SUV. You still get the little fucking outings to the gym and the cafe with the girlfriends,
Because here's the thing, right?
Get the holidays in France.
It's all about thinking outside the box, or in this case, inside the box.
Inside the box.
But if you look at it, it seems to be, I don't want to come across as anti-feminist.
Definitely not. We're very pro-feminists on this show. We love feminists.
We are very pro-feminist. We got the misogynists and sexists and chauvinists. Yeah. The soundbite. We even got a soundbite.
Chauvinists and sexists and misogynists and chauvinists and sexists.
Do you feel that there may be an issue? It's all about the credit going. It's all about the image, if you will.
Right.
Because ultimately, when it comes down to the finances, this glass ceiling is being broken by this lady sleeping with the boss, and the husband is skyrocketing through the business.
That's right.
Unlike the woman, right?
Yep.
But she's still getting the perks of said that because of her actions, but she's not getting the credit. So I feel like the issue with the glass ceiling is not about the fact there's unequal pay. It's just about where the credit comes.
So you think she deserves a trophy for her whoring activities? Greg?
Yes, exactly. I feel like she just needs to be credited for that, and that balances it. Yeah. It's kind of like, well, she's earning 0. He's now earning 150K. But had the glass ceiling been vice versa, if she'd not bonked the boss, she might have had a job for 75K. He might have a job for 75K. It's a net 0.
Yeah.
You get where I'm coming from?
I do.
I feel like the feminists will say, well, she's not getting the credit for what she's doing to get to the glass ceiling.
Right.
Because she's putting the work for the 75K, but the husband's getting 75K, but then she's reaping the rewards of the extra 75K. Now she's got 150.
Well, I think, if she wants to take a bigger cut, Greeno, she should, not only suck the boss's dick, but then also, pick up the phone every now and then. Take some fucking, grab some fucking purchase orders on your way in. Chip in around the office screen. Change the fucking ink in the printer from time to time.
So once again, it's all about perception. I feel this is proactive feminism.
Right.
Because she's doing her part to make sure she's getting the bickies in.
Okay.
Just subversively.
Right. So it doesn't show up in a statistic. That's the problem.
Nah, and once again, good tax evasion.
Good tax evasion. So you're all on top of the tax evasion. That's right. Greeno, registered accountant, my friend Greeno. He knows all the tricks and the whores. Yeah.
Black market accountant.
Absolutely. This one also came from Jim N-word. Soccer star Amanita Diallo arrested for allegedly orchestrating attack on PSG teammate Kira Hamraoui. He's fucking racist.
Nice, Gary.
So, yeah, but I was going to read the story, but then I thought, well, I don't know if I'm as interested in that as I am on this. The New York Post video, you know how sometimes people put videos that have nothing to do with the story in these little things? Now, I think we should watch this, Greeno. This video is called Man Seen Sanding His Feet on New Jersey Transit. Do you want to see a guy sanding his feet, Greeno? Because I kind of do.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. Do you reckon it's like a cheese grater kind of situation? Because he might have big calluses. I've got big calluses on my heels, It
could be a callus, it could be a callus situation. They need to scrape that off. And you can sit there and get the file on it. Yeah, but this way, get the sander out.
And then think about, like, the funny thing is, Greeno, all that dead skin on the floor of the train, and it's probably not even the dirtiest thing there.
Yeah, I would say that's still pretty hygienic compared to most of the shit I see on the floor of a train.
He's making the place cleaner by putting his dead skin there as a kind of like a pillow for his feet to walk on as he leaves.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look here. Hang on, where's my audio?
I don't think the audio makes much of a difference. It's literally silence.
Oh, no, because listen, it's an electric one. He's just doing some footwork there on the train, Greeno.
No, why not? He's being productive. You got to make use of travel time.
Wow.
Some people will respond to emails. Some people read books. This guy, he's like, I'm going to take care of the bunions.
Take care of the bunions.
Nice, Gary!
Makes you wonder why he has them if he catches the train, Greeno. That's usually reserved for people who walk places.
Fair call. Before we go to the break, though, look, this is pretty serious. Like, this is a Tonya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan kind of situation there. The only saving grace for the charges that Amanita was facing is the fact that as soon as the attacker came anywhere near her, Kira fell to the ground, writhing, pretending to be in pain, asking for a penalty.
Really? Okay.
Well, that was the fucking punchline, man. That was going to be the ad break. Awkward. Should we do another finance segment to go to the break then? Go on a high note?
No.
It's the JJ Stoner Spring Collection, the perfect attire for any and every occasion you can think of this season. Like we were in the mosh pit full of sweat and everyone's slapping, hitting, and pulling on you. This shit won't rip! Lunch at your favorite cafe? Brunch with the girls? These stylish ensembles will give you the confidence you need to look and feel your best. Or if you're getting arrested for possession, it comes with a built-in police stick-proof body armor. Keep swinging, pigs! Call now, and your order will come with a complimentary ounce of that dankest bubblegum slurricane that the South has to offer. Don't forget the wall tapestry! If you need to cover your wall, it works!
Hello, my name is Frozen Asian, and I'd like to tell you about my show, The Sunday Night Shit Show, every Sunday night at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Along with good conversations and laughing at funny and weird shit we find on the internet, we also have the Hat Cam, where I showcase my myriad of great-looking hats. Here is a testimonial from a great friend of mine who has enjoyed my hats lately.
I hope your next hat is a bullet. Jesus Christ, what are you, fucking Asian Dick Tracy? What's wrong with you? Why do you have to ruin my evening? Like I was gonna just listen to my buds do their show, and you just gotta do that. You do the show without the hat.
So you're not enjoying it?
No.
Dude, Asian
come
Dick
on,
Tracy.
secretly you enjoy it.
You look like you're going undercover in Argentina, but it's not working.
I hate you. I hate you.
Come on, you secretly love it.
No, I openly hate it.
And there you have it. So subscribe to the Sunday Night Shit Show at youtube.com/Sunday Night Shit Show. And hope to see you there on Sunday nights. Bye.
Welcome to The Starting Block. Follow on Twitter at The Starting Block. Drop the K at the end. Find the podcast on iTunes or on tavshow.com.
Back to the block, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. When you realise the show back announced and you're kind of halfway through it and you're like, oh, I've still got plenty of time anyway. Let's just wait it out and see what happens. I was thinking earlier today about some of my favourite moments on this show over the last year have been the jokes that kind of died and the awkward silence afterwards. That last segment was not one of them. It was just a fucking big old flat dud. No good there.
All right then. Speaking of fun segments, Greeno, during the commercial break, BE tweeted us, put this in the DM, and apparently there's a place, I had no idea, called the National Bobblehead Hall of Fame and Museum. And this is what BE does for this program, ladies and gentlemen. And he has found Frankie McDonald talking bobbleheads, which you can purchase for just $30.
Nice,
wow.
Look at the Frankies here. Look at this.
You're almost losing money if you don't buy that.
So there's Frankie McDonald. Oh, look, there's a video of him with the fucking doll, Greeno. Look at this.
Guess what I got in the mail today? A talking Frankie down bobblehead.
This is meta as fuck, Greeno.
Nice, Jerry!
Frankie McDonald holding a talking Frankie McDonald bobblehead.
Bobblehead.
So thank you so much for that, BE. That's fucking amazing. I'm definitely going to invest it. I want a talking Frankie McDonald bobblehead on my work desk. And when I'm feeling down, I'm just going to tap him on the forehead, and he's going to go, "It's 34 degrees outside," and I'll be like, okay, back to work, everyone.
Life is good.
Life is good.
I'm seeing this and I'm getting concerned, Damo. Yeah. I'm getting a little bit concerned. I'm thinking Frankie's already getting too big for us.
He is pretty massive. I'm not going to lie.
We've just brought him on for the weather report and the finance segments. We doubled down. We doubled his paycheck. Yeah. And he's got bobbleheads. I'm worried he's going to big time us.
Look,
put it out there.
I genuinely, this is, open the kimono. I genuinely brought Frankie to the show one week because I thought, it was a little light. So I was like, yeah. Why don't we play this Frankie McDonald video of him just doing the air siren noise? We'll call it the weather report. That'll kill 3 minutes of the show because that's how little we respect our audience.
Nice, Gary.
I told you we've told you from the start we're both big David Letterman fans, so we're just here to waste your time. So.
Yeah. Spot on. And we're doing it well tonight.
I know. I'm wasting my fucking time now.
We're doing 80s movie reviews.
I know. What a waste of fucking time.
To open the show, normally you open with a big, strong segment. We were reviewing 48 Hours in Miracle Beach.
We opened the show today with Greeno going, well, when I listened to the 48 Hours DVD director's commentary, they were talking about the differences between, what happened in the transition between Beverly Hills Cop. And it was really interesting. It was really good. And then they wanted Sylvester Stallone, and he went and made Cobra, Green.
Cobra.
Right. Cobra. Another movie no one saw.
No, exactly.
We're back to talk about movies again, just like that.
Yeah. Full circle. Let's talk some MLB awards, Damo. Okay. It's award season. Finally, they managed to stretch his pony out, right? Like, I guess they're trying to make sure they're still covering pages and, getting clicks and whatnot. So they spread out the MLB awards over the course of 2 weeks. For me, too long. Like, that's just too much. Like, the start of the 2-week cycle was, hey, here's the finalists in each award. And I'm like, no. Just fucking tell the awards already. But 2 awards I want to mention. Firstly, Australian Liam Hendriks was named the 2021 AL Reliever of the Year for the 2nd straight season. He's the first pitcher ever to receive that award in consecutive seasons. So a fucking Aussie bloke who, Australia, not known for baseball, has won back-to-back Reliever of the Year awards.
And also, you'll be pleased to know, Greeno, recently announced he's now sponsored by Bitcoin.
Nice, Gary!
Very good.
Good!
Ironically, he is a Perth boy. That unbelievable, and he ended up coming 8th overall in the
Hell yeah! Good luck, Perth.
Well done, Perth. He ended up coming 8th overall in the Cy Young as well. I think that's the first time ever an Australian's received Cy Young votes. So this dude creating some history here. First ever back-to-back Reliever of the Year awards ever, and it's done by an Aussie. And also the fact that, first ever Cy Young votes for an Aussie as well. So
I kind of like the idea that the reliever never wins 2 years in a row because it's poetic.
Well, it's just so volatile.
Well, because the reliever gets relieved every year.
Yeah, well, that as well.
Yeah.
But it's also the fact that it's so hard to be good for multiple years in a row as a reliever and dominant because it just doesn't happen. So
you only need to be good for a couple of innings. That's all.
Well, no, 100 innings this year for him, but
100 innings. Yeah, a couple every game though.
In relief.
Yeah.
And then our boy Shohei
Ohtani.
Unanimous MVP award winner today. So congratulations to Shohei. Only the second ever Japanese player to win the award after Ichiro.
Right.
And I think he's the fourth unanimous player that's active or whatever that's ever won the award as well. So
hang on, and I need to interrupt for a second because I did see when I was scrolling through the starting block Discord earlier, Greeno, I did see something that Jim Enward put in the chat, and I think we should bring it up. US Sportsbook hit with 7-figure loss after your Los Angeles Angels Shohei Ohtani named American League MVP. I love it when the bookies take a hit.
Isn't that a thing of beauty? Well, because no one believed he could do it, right? So at the start of the year, everyone's like, look, if Shohei can pitch and hit, he will be the MVP. Even if he does both pretty good, he should be the MVP. And he did both great.
Yeah.
So the bookies were like, well, hang on, the guy hasn't been able to, he's coming back from like an injury pitching wise. He's never pitched more than, X amount of innings in a year. There's no way he's winning the MVP. And he did it.
He didn't just do it. You would have to be in another fucking reality to pick. Imagine if one person, like, just say there's a judging panel. How do they pick the MVP, Greeno? Everybody votes, right?
No, there's 30 writers. So 2 writers from each area, I think it is. I don't know, maybe it's more than 30. There's 2 writers from each area. Basically, no, it is 30. There's 30 overall. So they've got 30 different chapters in the Baseball Writers Association, and there's 2 writers for each area.
Right.
And they all put in a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6 vote all the way.
Well, I can't imagine any one of them, if they're sane, rational people, being able to pick anyone other than Shohei Ohtani as the MVP.
They didn't.
Because
that's why
he would have to be unanimously the best. So the US bookmaker, Greeno, lost, get this, listen to this, $1 million on that. Just one.
Is that it?
Just one. One bookmaker, one guy lost $1 million. On March 19, a bettor in Nevada placed. The guy bet 30,000 on Ohtani to win MVP on March 19. That's a lot of fucking money on the table, isn't it?
That's a lot of money, yeah.
Yeah, and he gets $1 million out of it. Fucking nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
On him. Fantastic.
Which so award season all done and dusted, which brings us now. Like let's fucking talk the serious business.
Yeah.
Bit of hot stove, baby.
Hot stove. What's happening with the stoves? What is our stove situation this year? Can you refresh our memories? Or
so off memory, fuck, I really should write this stuff down. Last year we'd already bought the new stove, right? We bought the stove at the start of the season, and then we had COVID hit. So we're sitting here, fucking dick in our hand, a la Tim Payne, where we're like, well, what are we going to do with this new stove? There's no action.
Do you reckon he's better with that than he is with the bat? Would be hard, would it, Greeno? Hey, nice, Gary. Nice fucking Gary.
You sure hope it's hard, Damo. Hot toss. Ooh, yeah.
So he's staying in the team though, Tim Payne.
He's staying in the team, he's sticking around. He's going to loiter like that weird cousin. We're just like, man, what are you still fucking doing here? Like, the only reason you're in the team is because you're a captain.
Just give the gloves back to Matthew Wade and let's get on with it, you know?
You can't give it to Wadey, man. His glove work's terrible.
Yeah, he can't see. He's blind as a bat. That's the problem.
Exactly.
He can barely see the ball. I don't even know how he hits it.
Did we talk about the fact the Aussies won the T20?
No, I didn't even know we won. That's how little I care about T20. Like, Greeno and myself aren't lying when we say this. Look, I'll watch it if it's on, you know. Mm-hmm. And if there's nothing else on,
I'm asked.
Like, exactly. You know, but every now and then I'll get into a game. Remember when we went to the T20 at the SCG and like we got into it.
That's different when you go. Yeah. That was awesome. We were at the SCG. We were in the member stand,
drinking piss, watching cricket.
Yeah. It was the experience opposed to the game.
Yeah, that's right.
The experience would have been even better if it was a test match.
I have enjoyed some T20 games, though. I'm not going to lie. But the nighttime T20s against, a fucking India or Sri Lanka, or sometimes they can be entertaining. You know what I mean? But this T20 World Cup, like I wasn't getting up at fucking 1 a.m. or whatever it was on to watch the cunt.
I watched the KO Mini the next day.
How long did the Mini go for?
Fucking 20 minutes, something like that. Yeah. It was in between me watching the F1 replay and the MotoGP replay.
Right.
That's how little I cared. I'm like, well, I've got to watch the F1 first, even though Australia won. That's how little fuck.
So after getting smacked by England, like humiliated by England, and they were all fucking cocky and shit after that, weren't they? They thought they were going to win the thing. We end up winning it, and they fucking lost in the semis.
Yeah.
Fucking suck a dick, England. How do you like that? Nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
Because we're gearing up for the Ashes, so all we're getting is stories about Tim Payne's dick and racist blackface wearing England players, and then they're like, by the way, Ashes starts in a couple of weeks. Oh, beautiful!
Nice, Gary.
Fantastic.
I want you to soundbite that little bit for me. Suck a dick, nice, Gary. That was perfect delivery, sir. I want that as a soundbite. Just play ready, like suck a dick, nice, Gary.
Right, we'll get it done.
Give yourself a nice Gary for that one.
Give a nice Gary for the nice Gary.
Nice Gary.
Nice Gary. I can ignite Gary. Now, where were we at your hot stove? So, yeah, where were we? We bought the new stove last year. Then we had the COVID. So the season
that's right. We're still talking about the fucking stove.
We just started the stove. We get distracted
again.
Just
started talking about it. God, it's going to go for like 10 more minutes.
It's like we've got ADD in this motherfucker. It's late at night. We've been working all week. It's no good. Great.
Hey, you keep talking about the fucking stove. I'm going to grab another beer. Hang on.
Well, here's the thing. Well, I'm going to do a quick story time inside before we get to the stove. So this is beach bod time, because we were talking earlier about how last week me and you caught up at 7. You all right?
All right.
You're good?
All right, still talking about the stove?
No, I was making sure you were all good. I think we're fine over there. No, just saying we caught up last week at the beach, which means it's time for Greeno to get the beach bod intact because we couldn't take the shirt off.
That's right.
So I've been off the beers. So this is the most sober I've ever done the show.
Since then?
Oh no, since like the week before that.
Oh, wow.
I realised beach bod need to get back intact.
Well, no wonder you were so snippy with me on Twitter earlier today.
That was just shits and giggles.
You need to get a couple of pisses into you. Fucking relax, bro.
Bants. Where were we? Hot stove. So
your bants can be very hurtful when I'm drunk. I'll have you know.
I saw your reply. I'm like, dude, I'm just fucking around. Calm down.
So am I.
I was worried. I messed up. I'm like, am I meant to be there at 7:30? Fuck, well, was it 8:30? I swear it's 8:30.
I don't know why I thought 7:30 all of a sudden. I don't.
It was the old time. It's all good.
Yeah. Anyway. It's 10 o'clock now, so we've really fucked the pooch on that one.
Nice, Gary!
Wasting people's time. So the stove. So I bought the stove last year, fresh one, because we were worried about the year before. No good. Had bad trade period.
Couldn't get anything bubbling on the fucking thing, Greeno. Nothing
was bubbling. We already had the Dean Hutton debacle, so we moved on from that. Fresh stove. We got the gas top. We got the fucking nice solid gas top.
A gas top with an emergency switch, just in case. You know, we do have the kindling of another Dean Hutton debacle.
Exactly. We got the separate bottle as well this time, because we've got the main gas main. We've got the gas main, but then we've also got like, look, let's say the gas cuts out, then we're gonna be fucked in the hot stove. Right. Let's get a separate gas bottle. So we got the separate gas bottle, we got the connection, we got the stove, we got the new stove. We installed it. We had a pretty good hot stove last year.
Do you realize that the hot stove is probably the worst in joke of all time on any show, Greeno? Because if someone just randomly came in and was like, oh, okay, I'm going to check out the stove. Well, yeah, my friend said it's really good and they talk about sports and stuff. Oh, okay. And you go in and then it's like, so listen, we've got the separate burner on the stove this time, okay? Because of the Dean Hutton debacle. And they're like, who the fuck's Dean Hutton? Don't worry.
Talk about Uni Day. What the fuck's Uni Day?
This is ridiculous. It's stupid.
Yeah. It's very stupid. Like, we admit it.
Yeah. So tell me more about the stove, because we've got another 5 minutes to kill here. We've got to really drag this shit out.
Because we got nothing better to do at 10 o'clock at night Australian time.
Nothing.
So we realised, like I looked at the budget. Obviously, the budget hit us hard last year. with the lockdown. We didn't get no JobKeeper last year because it's only if you actually earn money off the show. We didn't earn any money, so we couldn't get any money in the budget.
No.
They're like, what do you mean? We put in an application. They're like, what's this Mountain Dew? And I'm like, well, that's what we get paid. And I'm like, well, we can't give you $7.50 a week in replacement of Mountain Dew. I'm like, oh, that's what we get paid though. Can we do the equivalent?
Look, it's minimum wage. It's minimum wage. It's not robbing us or anything. We accepted the contract. We probably should have read it first, but
we probably should have put it. Probably should have got our lawyers over it a bit
if
more.
I had read it first, I would have demanded 2 cases of Mountain Dew, Greeno.
Exactly. Then I think we would have had more of a better position when we're trying to get our JobKeeper.
More leverage. Yeah.
Exactly. So unfortunately, we couldn't get the JobKeeper last year, so our budget was a little bit limited this year. So ultimately, we had to sit there and apply for government grants.
Right.
Now, the government grants, when it came to the hot stove budget, bit limited as well, which is unfortunate. Yeah. I try to explain to fucking Frydenberg the importance of the stove, that the fans, they need to understand the temperature at all times.
Something to rally around, Greeno.
Something to lift the spirits of the Australian public. Like, not all of us can be Wilbur Wild in the fucking Get a Jab ad. But, we try and do our part for the Australian public to get them to, like, we're not going to sit there and subliminally say, get a jab.
BE, the Earth reporter in the chat, Greeno, says, it's only 9 p.m. here, boys. Punch through.
I love it. Thank you, BE, for listening. I'm glad we still got our one listener. Yeah. So, unfortunately, the budget was limited. Josh Frydenberg sent me through his office, sent me a letter back and said, look, no, you're not getting the JobKeeper, but we're definitely not paying for a new stove because your stove still looks new from last year. We feel like it didn't
matter if it looks new.
And look, in Josh's defense, he's right.
Slap a coat of paint on it and then it looks new and then you don't get anything. That's bullshit, Greeno.
I think smack bang new. We've
got to check under the hood.
So Josh requested, firstly, government policy is you got to reuse the stove this year. I'm like, sweet, okay, all good. Stove's still in good nick. We're happy days.
No cash for clunkers scheme, unfortunately.
No cash for clunkers, unfortunately, because they said not quite a clunker. If we had the old stove from 2018, good to go.
It's clunky. It's clunky, but not a clunker.
Exactly. It's the little things.
Yeah.
So from there, Josh said, look, here's what we can do. We'll pay for the water. Because the government only gives you a little. Long story short, it's a rebate. So we've got to pay for the water first.
Yeah,
and
they'll pay us back.
Then submit an application to the government. They'll get back to us in 6 to 9 months about refunding us a certain percentage of the water we use for said hot stove.
No, you got it all wrong, Greeno. That's not the way it works at all. What will happen is in 6 to 9 months, we'll get correspondence saying that we actually filled out the wrong form retrospectively, because at the time it was the right form, but we've since merged that department, and now you have to fill out a new form and go to the back of the queue again.
Fair call.
Which will be just in time for next year's hot stove.
Next year's hot stove, exactly. So with all that being said, put the pot on the pan, ready to go, put our water waiting, fill in the form. We had this happen so far on the hot stove. Andrew Heaney signed with the Dodgers on a 1-year contract for $8 million. Yeah. We had Noah Syndergaard reject his qualifying offer from the New York Mets and signed a $21 million deal with the Los Angeles Angels to now actually be a pitcher there with Shohei Ohtani. We've got Jose Barrios agreed to an 7-year contract with the Blue Jays for about $125 million off the top of my head. I didn't write that down. And we had Justin Verlander get a 1-year deal for $25 million with the Astros, and Brendan Belt accept an $18.9 million deal qualifying offer to stay at the Giants. So the stove is bubbling early. There's a bit of bubble. I'm liking it. I'm disappointed by the government fucking inaction when it came to the hot stove and the rebates, but I'm happy with the boil.
Do you realize, Greeno, that the portion of the show that you put the most effort into takes the least amount of time to do? So you put more effort into the baseball stats segment of the show, which usually goes for about 3 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes max.
Yeah,
but there's 10 to 15 minutes of padding of either side of it. So, but then don't forget the last, if you've been listening since the start, and I don't know why you would be, but you've been listening for about 94 minutes or thereabouts.
99.
And there has been no effort put into any of that. None of zero.
It.
So the part of the show that he spends the most time on and learns the most about is the part of the show that we just did, which was the reading of the baseball statistics and he got signed for X amount of money, the hot stove. That takes the most amount of time. Nice Gary, Greeno.
Nice, Gary!
Nice Gary.
We're going to skip 10, 11. Let's go to 12 and wrap up the show because we've got to do a stat man to end the show.
I'm going to stat man.
I'm a stat man.
To one Valentino Rossi, who Valet ended his illustrious career this weekend. I tried to do the right thing. I thought, look, I'm going to do the right thing. I'm going to stay up and watch Valet's final race. I'm just too old to do that shit anymore. I used to be a guy who'd stay up all night watching F1s to be able to go to work 5 a.m. the next morning. I'm all good on no sleep. Now, just too old, too many kids, and too much effort. Not going to do it. But I'm like, it's fucking Valentino Rossi. I've got to stay up and watch this thing. Assuming the races start about 10:30.
Okay.
Because that's when the races normally start. Spain. Espanol.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the race didn't start until after midnight.
Right. Yeah.
So I sat there and watched all the undercarriage, like the minor categories. So we had Moto 3 and Moto 2. Now, firstly, Moto 3, that racing is off its tits. There must have been 45 lead changes during the course of that race.
Because they're all on all the bikes have to be basically uniform. And,
I know, and how good is it?
And they're all like fucking 16, 17-year-old, 18-year-old kids, aren't they? Who are just fucking fearless, who want to win so they can get the new contract to go up a division.
Spot on, but it's the most unbelievable racing. There was literally 12 races, all with a chance on the final lap to win the Grand Prix. It was so good. Then I watched Moto 2, not realising that Remy Gardner, the Aussie, had the chance to be the first Aussie in 52 years, off the top of my head, to win a Moto 2 crown, or the intermediate class as it's referred to. Yeah. And he won it.
Nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
Is he going to step up next year, or?
He sure is. He's got a contract with Ducati for next year.
We're keeping the Aussie Ducati connection alive. I like it.
Well, we've already got Jack Miller there in the MotoGP for anyway, so he's already
on
there,
Ducati as well.
Yeah.
So we've had Casey Stoner, Troy Bayliss, and now these two boys as well.
Yeah, Jack Miller and then Remy Gardner going up next year.
So they're going to have two Aussie boys on the same bike. That's fantastic.
Yes, but I think
so which one will be sitting on the back of the bike and which one will be driving?
On the front, exactly.
Yeah.
There's like eight Ducatis in the field next year.
Is there really? Does Honda is Honda? Are all the classics still there? Kawasaki, Honda.
Not Kawasaki. You got the Honda. You've got the Yamaha.
KTM.
You got the KTM. Or KTM is more in the lower classes.
Okay.
You got Suzuki, and then you got the Ducatis. So. Once again, off track. So I thought, I'm going to start. I'm going to watch Valley's race. And then the wife was like, look, why don't you just watch it in bed? And I'm like, if I go to bed and watch it in there, I'm going to fall asleep. And she's like, no, you'd be right.
If you lay down, you fall asleep. That's what I found.
Was like, so I stayed up. I watched Remy Gardner win the Moto 2 championship. He came 12th in the race, and that's all he needed to do.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, this is pretty good. I'm like, look, it's midnight. I've literally got to get up, go to work, drop the kids off. I'll watch. I'm pretty wired. I'll be good. I'm going to go watch Valley's final race in bed. And I literally crashed out before I got to lap 2. So
nice, Gary.
You saw the start, though. You saw the start.
I saw the start,
but not the
finish.
I'm
like, and then next thing I know, I woke up and it was like my alarm was going off. I'm like, what the fuck happened? How did I miss? I had to watch a replay. I was gutted.
And what was on TV when you woke up? Was it like breakfast? Breakfast like church stuff? You know how you get that church stuff early in the morning?
It was KO. Yeah, it was no Benny Hinn. We were all good.
Ah, yeah, Benny Hinn. Those were the days.
Those were the days. It was KO, and basically as soon as the race finished, the coverage stopped. But Valentino Rossi, final ever race, finished 10th. So still, he said, he goes, look, the way I look at it is my final race. I'm still in the top.
Did you just try to do a little Italian accent then?
I tried to do a little. I'm like, that's not going to fucking work. I'm cutting that pretty early.
It's my last race. It's like, Valentino Rossi, everyone's favorite Mexican cartoon character. I'm the fastest MotoGP rider in all of Mexico. Valentino Rossi.
That's why the only accents I do on this show are Kimi Räikkönen, and that's pretty much it, right?
Kimi, but you don't even do it in a Finnish accent. You just talk very slowly like this, and you just sound like a little bit like Kamal. It sounds like a little bit Pakistani, if you ask me. But it's a good race. And so Kimi Räikkönen's from Pakistan, and Valentino Rossi is from Mexico.
It's Mexican.
Nice, Gary.
But gotta give a here's a bit of Valentino Rossi stat man to wrap up.
I'm a
stat man.
So 9 world championship titles.
Yeah.
115 wins over 432 starts. So 1 in 4 races over his career, he won.
And didn't he get... He's been racing for like, what, 23 years or something, right?
23 years. Yeah.
He won those 9 world championships. He won 9 in the first 10 or 11 years, didn't he?
Something like that, yeah.
So he hasn't won one for a long time, but he could have retired 10 years ago.
And still been a go.
And yeah, right. But I think
his strike rate would have been like 115 out of 300.
Yeah, something crazy like that. I mean, it's still insanely good.
Oh, look at this, 235 podiums out of 432 races. So he was on the top 3 in half the races he ever raced. And he's raced the most ever races in MotoGP. Like, he's just unbelievable.
He basically won, if you look at the stats, he won 1 out of every 4 races pretty much. He was on the podium 1 out of every 2 races. And he finished on the podium 23 races in a row.
Yeah. Successive races on the podium, 23. Different circuits with a MotoGP win. He won in 23 different circuits over his career.
Incredible.
Unbelievable. People throw out the term greatest of all time in certain sports and fucking very flippantly. But I can't recall a racer in it. Like, I thought no one ever topped Michael Schumacher from a racing standpoint. Yeah. Lewis Hamilton's getting pretty fucking close. But from a MotoGP standpoint, no one come close to Valentino Rossi. Best I've ever seen do it, and did it with the flamboyance and excitement and fun that you never saw out of a lot of other races.
He was a troll. He would troll his opponents, like the fucking was it the Max Biaggi story, where you tell the story. You know the story better.
Well, you're the one that told the story to me originally. So basically, in the early days, like, he had a very strong rivalry. Both Italian boys, both Rossi and Biaggi, obviously, and they had a very strong rivalry. And Biaggi hated him because Rossi was always better, no matter what category they came up through. It was always like, Max is very good, and in any other era, similar to Sede Gibernau, they would have won. Max Biaggi would have won like 3 world championships or whatever.
It's like Stuart McGill. Stuart McGill would have been the fucking greatest leg spin bowler in the world if Shane Warne hadn't have existed. He just,
spot on.
Fucking Brad Hodge, Greeno.
Yeah, 100%. If Ricky Ponting hadn't been born like 2 weeks earlier, Brad Hodge would have probably been one of the best Australian players ever.
Yep.
And he was. I think he averaged almost 100. Yep. But with that said, so Valentino Rossi and Max Biaggi had this rivalry basically from the time they were kids all the way through the junior ranks, all the way up to MotoGP. And they hated each other. It wasn't a secret, and they were always on different bikes, and it was just, very vicious. And there was a race where Valentino Rossi won the race and Biaggi came second, but Valley got disqualified after the race. And he refused to give Max Biaggi the trophy and would send him pictures of the trophy in his house posing with it as like trolling him.
Nice, Gary!
So fucking funny. And to this day, it's like his favorite trophy.
Yeah.
To this day, because it's the one that Max should have. And so he kept it. He's like, fuck you, I'm keeping it. And here's a picture of me holding it, and it's my favorite trophy, and it's going up right in the middle of the wall. Fuck
exactly.
That's just the kind of fucking guy he is. BE, the Earth Reporter, Greeno. Rossi's last win was June 25, 2017 at Assen.
There we go.
He won 1 race in 2017 and 2 in 2016. So, yeah, like, he hasn't been competitive for a while, but he was still slogging it out for the last 3 or 4 years too, because he just, probably got that mentality, Greeno, you're a long time retired, so he just never wanted to stop. Keep riding. I wonder how his body is after all that time.
Yeah, well, if you think about it, he didn't crash very often. Like, he stayed on the bike.
Finished every race pretty much, unless the bike failed,
Yeah, pretty much. I watched this doco on Netflix a couple of weeks back called Hitting the Apex. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh man, check it out. You'll like it.
Is it Rossi, is it?
Well, it's about five riders. It's Rossi, Stoner, Simoncelli, Pedrosa,
Marco Simoncelli.
And Marc Marquez.
I just realized where you got your Italian quote-unquote Mexican accent from, Greeno. It was from us going, Marco Simoncelli.
It's a doco about those 5 guys over a 5-year span.
Right.
Where during, I think it's when basically Rossi went from Honda. No, he'd already been in Yamaha for a while, but it was their transition out. Oh, no. And I forget Jorge is also one of the people.
So Jorge was at Honda, Stoner was at Honda, and then Ducati.
Jorge was at Yamaha. Rossi had won a bunch of championships. Then Jorge came up, and then he was faster than Rossi. And they said to Rossi, well, you're going to have to be the 2 rider. So then Rossi's like, fuck that, I'm going to own Ducati. And the Ducati was shit.
Right.
So it kind of covers those 5-year periods where Stoner was dominating on the Ducati.
Yep.
And that it's really good. Check it out.
Yeah, right.
But it just goes to show like how dangerous this fucking sport is.
It's ridiculous. I've always thought that out of all motorsport people, I would put MotoGP riders as the most fucking intense, like the most hitting the edge, crazy motherfuckers. And then very closely behind them, I would put rally drivers.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, 100%. These guys, they're saying this doco, and I just remember the point why I was going to that doco. These bikes go faster than an F1 car.
Yeah, they're insane. They're just rockets. So you're not riding it, you're fucking hanging on.
You're holding on to it. Yeah, exactly. But the reason I brought that doco up, is because they asked him because during that doco is when Simoncelli died, and they asked Rossi, like, you've won all these championships, like, you're not as quick as you used to be. Is this time to hang it up? And you were talking about he just was like long time retired. Yeah. And he's like, when I'm not excited about riding bikes and when I feel like I don't want to ride them anymore, that's when I retire. I don't want this to be the reason I retire.
Wow.
Because him and Simoncelli were like best buds.
Yeah, they were. That's right. It fucked Rossi up, Simoncelli. And I think the race after Simoncelli died, Rossi finished like 3rd or something, didn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, but he had a fucking amazing ride, and there was like poetically in that race there was a moment where he could have crashed or something. You know, it had all of that shit about it too. I seem to remember. Maybe I'm remembering a fucking movie or something. I don't know.
No, I'm 99% sure that's what happened.
Yeah. So there you go. How old is he? He's got to be like 43 or something, and he was still
42, I think, something like that.
42, and he was still fucking riding those pigs around. Jeez.
Yeah, he's been riding for a quarter of a century. So I think it was like 41, 42, something like that, which is just insane.
I reckon he's got bow legs now. Honestly, like
you'd have to.
Yeah.
Who was the rider? Once again, we're off track and we're wasting people's time.
Daryl Beatty's body was fucked after riding.
Daryl Beatty's body. There was a rider who broke their hand, and he basically, so they could ride, he got them, instead of like straightening the hand to be a normal hand.
Yeah, he made it into a claw.
Can you make it into a claw so I can just slide it onto the bike and make it easier to ride? And then you can fix my hand fucking later.
Yeah.
I can't remember which rider it was. And I was just like, these guys are nuts. Like, I knew they were beforehand, but for a rider to go, just put my hand into a claw, I'll deal with it, and we'll fix it at the end of the year.
You can only do 2 things with it. You can ride a bike or masturbate. That's it.
That's it.
And you can't shake anyone's hand unless you want them to put your hand in the hole. Greeno.
Very good. We got any plugs before we go, mate?
No. I'll be doing a show.
Your show, mate.
Yeah, Daily Boogie, 6 p.m. East Coast time, 10 a.m. our time, Greeno, here in Sydney. So about, if you're looking at the clock right now, about 11 and a half hours from now.
That's it.
All right, that's easy enough to remember, isn't it?
So, yeah, thereabouts.
And we'll be back next week. Summer's just around the corner. Ashes are just around the corner. Can we talk a bit of Ashes build up next week that doesn't involve, blackface, fucking calling people filthy what's and, fucking captain's dicks and stuff? Like, what the fuck are we doing? Can we talk about, can we please talk fucking cricket? It's got to kick some goals here. So, all right. We'll see you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
We'll always be bosom buddies, friends, sisters, and pals. We'll always be bosom buddies. If life should reject you, there's me to protect you.
If I say that your tongue is vicious,
if I call you uncouth,
it's simply that.
Who else but a bosom buddy will sit down and tell you the